This is a country where research showed that more than 70% of the youth do not care how you make your money as long as you have it. They're willing to make money by hook or crook. Is it possible to reverse this? And I'd also like to hear what Titus thinks on this issue. Is it possible to reverse and see the leaders who are elected through an integrity lens from the people rather than all these other considerations we're talking about?
Now, it is very possible. There is nothing that is cast on stone, and you can say that it's not possible. But it's going to take some time before we flip the coin. Reasons why I'm saying this is because most of the youths actually cherish when they see people with money. They don't care how you've made that money. So until such a time when we will make it possible for any young person to, first of all, afford employment, afford basic education without struggling, and after attaining their credentials, after completing school, there are opportunities available for them so that they can come to a point where they appreciate that once you have gone through the process of schooling and you have your credentials, you are able to secure an employment, you are able to secure an opportunity. So, such that now we make that sense of entitlement or sense of belonging that there is a guarantee once I go through the process of schooling, I'm able to secure an opportunity. But until we get to that point, it's going to be very difficult to change the matrix. Because for now, the youth want quick fix solutions, such that I don't care how you make your money, so long as I have it. So until we get to a point where we are providing employment opportunities for the young people, we are creating something that is beneficial to them at that point when they really need it, it's going to take some bit of time. So basically, that's my observation when it comes to this issue.
Jovin?
I think while I agree with Titus on the prescription is providing for either providing employment for the youth, I think we need to do a lot of soul searching as a society and decide for ourselves what is really good for us. Trevor, yes, it is true. Most of the researches that we do, we ask, what attributes do you look for in a leader? Why do you vote for someone? And we pose an array of attributes. Do you look for somebody who value integrity, or you're looking for someone who is street smart? And you find that people would consider that they don't care. If you are street smart, they would consider you more than someone who has a lot of integrity. And why? Because they look at those that are street smart, making a lot of money. We are driven by the acquisition. What can I acquire in terms of the physical wealth that every other person, and you see, I like what SRC has done.
Yeah.
Because the drivers to serve or the drivers to occupy the elective posts has never been that I want to go and serve as Jovin. Right. I want to go and amass wealth because it's an avenue. Yeah. And I believe it's going to be a big battle as the new, the MPs and whatever elects are going to be sworn in. Yeah. The first thing, Trevor, you will not be surprised that they would want to fight SRC and even move to the court. Yeah. They want those things, the peaks. And I believe, Mr. Speaker, if at all he gets it again, he'll have a rough time for him to be considered again in Nandi County. He will have to cede ground and say that we are going to see that we reintroduce these sitting allowances and all this manner of peaks that comes with the office. Because that has been the most drive. People are running because they know if an MCA can build some big mall somewhere there, then that's an avenue to make money and not to serve. So that's why I want to see, while thanking SRC for having reduced those things to at least a manageable level, so that also we manage our wage as a country. There's no point of borrowing to pay people saying that we elect me, I'm going to serve you.
Yeah.
Right.
They're serving themselves.
But
Well,
also
yeah.
CDF was made unconstitutional. So
Yes, it is.
Joshua, is that going to be part of the solutions, making sure that the PACs that come with these positions
I've completely-
are trimmed? Because sometimes the amounts that are spent on campaigns surmount the amount that you're going to make as an elected leader in your entire term.
And the
So
belief
it's
is
a
you
loss.
recoup that when you get voted in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a loss-making venture.
Interesting. I'm happy you've actually spoken on our behalf. If I was to speak, they will say I'll be selfish. This is one of the things that we always get it wrong. Politicians per se don't go in for the PACs. The PACs mean nothing, and I'll tell you why. If we can do research, and I think I've seen a feature, I don't know if it was this TV station, where they say the burdens of a Mheshimiwa.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
this stick
That
forward.
name, Mheshimiwa, run away from it. The moment that they start calling you Mhesh, just know the weight of that.
Yeah.
That even if you're given PACs, something you'll be so surprised. Even these travel allowances we talk about, just even if you travel out once and come back, in a weekend it's over. Because one, there's a disconnect. So that Kenyans must accept we have an honest conversation. If indeed we want a very trimmed pay or emolument for our leaders, then let's cut down on expectation. Because today a leader is elected. I have a case for MCA. One of the MCAs have just been declared a winner today. And everyone is in his home. He is from a campaign. He has nothing. But he has to provide money for tea. He has to provide money for transport. They came all the way to his house, but they expect when they are going back, Mheshimiwa, how are you supposed to go back? So that disconnect is there. Number two, all the social problems of the people are thrown at the feet of Mheshimiwa. Why do you think the two coalitions, Azimio and Kenya Kwanza, were busy trying to talk about their manifestos on health and the rest? Because the biggest carriers of this burden, on a weekend, even as a speaker, not even having been elected directly by the people, in a weekend, you get up to 20 invites of Harambes. That is the mismatch. In fact, the poorest, if you ask me, or the most broke employees are the same leaders, from MCA all the way up. Politicians, in fact, are forced to now engage in that issue that we are speaking about, businesses as a side hustle to try be able to match up the expectation. Question you raised very importantly about CDF. I honestly suspect that may be even a reason why it dumped in, the turnout. Because out of the seats available for contest, 290 were constituency seats, MPs. And one of the pool for MP position is CDF. And CDF is not about even handouts. What CDF does, bursary, very important, school infrastructure. So you have constituencies of people who can invest in a candidate knowing they'll benefit directly. For example, schools. Teachers are a very serious component or a key cog in a campaign in every constituency. So teachers may choose to say, we want to support this person. When he comes in, he will come help our schools. That group, the moment they see there is no CDF, no motivation.
No interest.
Bursary. Someone may want to personally support an MP on the basis that once you get elected, I'll be the first one in that list for bursary. I suspect with CDF being declared unconstitutional, remember Supreme Court is the highest court. Last time when High Court declared it unconstitutional, MPs were, they did well. They went and amended the law, came up with another law, and that's why there was an appeal on it.
Right.
I don't know how this time they'll escape that.
In fact, which was
Okay.
going to be my question to you, Titus,
Yes,
in
yes.
that if MPs are unable to create a new law for them to bring CDF back in one way or the other, and if they're unable to twist SRC in the future to get their allowances back, how might the workings of a member of parliament then change? Car grant, you name it.
Of course, we must try and trace the reason why the Supreme Court came to a finding as to why the CDF Act has to be abolished. This emanates from a very simple principle in law that was drawn by a French scholar in many, many years ago called Montesquieu, separation of powers and roles. If you have been given an opportunity to legislate, it will be a duplication of role and conflict of interest if, again, you are given the mandate to be in charge of resources which you are supposed to be legislating on and oversighting on. So putting these two issues in comparison to now something which was introduced in the Constitution in the name of devolution, you can see it creates a duplication of roles and a conflict of interest on the part of an MP who is supposed to be a legislator, because it defeats logic, or it rather turns logic upside down, to expect someone to legislate on resource distribution, and again at the tail end put the same person to be distributing the resources. That is conflict of interest. So that is the basis upon which the Supreme Court said, no, enough is enough. It is a high time that now we compromise the issue of CDF and take it to the devolution, so that issues of development, issues of bursaries, all these issues can be dispensed off with within the channels of devolution. But having said that, of course, one of the things that is now constant is that a Kenyan voter is hungry and exploitative. And that is the beginning point as to why we have waheshimiwas going through all this turmoil to ensure that they fight tooth to nail, to ensure that they have got a lot of packs, so that they can find a way of enticing and appeasing the voters. Because the voter, the Kenyan voter, has a very good memory when it comes to the voting time. They will always remember what this fella who has been serving in an elective position has been doing.
Yeah.
And if you have not been appeasing them, if you have not been contributing towards funeral money to assist them bury their dead, if you've not been assisting them in buying food, or even giving them handouts anytime you meet them, they will always wait for that opportunity to punish you. That's why you see so many MPs, so many MCAs, they strive, they go out of their way to try and create so many fictitious, packs within the ranks of where they serve to appease these people. So I am, of course, in the coming days, I will not be surprised if very few people will be vying for positions of MPs, if at all the CDF fund will no longer be there, and if the MPs that are sitting now will not find a way of reintroducing it, which of course I find it very difficult for them to reintroduce it, because that means they have to amend the Constitution. Yeah. And we know the process of the Constitution,
exactly.
the process.
Not
the basic structure principle may still find itself in our corridors.